All right, let me be honest here for a second. If you ever see me on a plane, get off as fast as possible. I don't know why you would ever recognize me of all people on a plane, but if you do, like, save your life and get off. I have the worst luck imaginable with airplanes. Maybe that's being a little dramatic. Maybe not the worst of all time, but there's been at least 2 times where I've convinced myself that I was going to die on a plane. All right, so let's go ahead and set up the first story. We'll tell the second one in a whole different video. Like, comment, and subscribe. You know, the whole good deal if you want to see the second video. All right, so here we go. This is probably like 2019. I'm on a recruiting visit to Fairmont State University up in West Virginia. I don't know if any of y'all know where that is. We're flying from like Washington Dulles or whatever the airport's called to Clarksburg. We're flying from Washington Dulles, if you ever know where that is, over to Clarksburg. And this plane's completely empty. It's me, my stepdad, and like 2 other people. There's one flight attendant. He's some gay dude. He's wearing all the pins, you know. Very flamboyant. That's the reason I mentioned that, is because it was actually pretty funny. The plane was desolate. I'm talking about like hadn't been updated since the 70s type of plane. The plane was so small that only one person sat on like one side of the aisle. The plane was so small that like only one person sat on the other side of the aisle. Like, it was pretty crazy. I mean, we're talking so old, the plane had ashtrays. Like, let's start off with that. That's a whole problem with it itself. And then, I mean, I sat in the full back, like, you know, right in front of the toilet. And there was this ashtray like right behind my seat, like right here. And I sat in the full back of the plane, like, you know, back by the toilet. And behind my seat was a fire extinguisher, like right here. This thing was straight out of World War II. I mean, it was green and it had like 3 inches of dust on it. I think that fire extinguisher had to be older than my stepdad, and he's like going on 50 now. So I mean, straight off the bat, this plane should have been a red flag. I should have went running for the hills, walked back home. So I mean, back to the like flamboyant flight attendant I was telling you about. The second we get on this plane, he goes straight into the bathroom for like 20 minutes. I mean, before he even took off, like as soon as we like went to the terminal and like we're loading the plane, he sits back there for like 20 minutes. 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, he comes back out of the bathroom. You know, the overhead bins, he opens one up and he grabs a roll of toilet paper out, goes back in the bathroom for, another like 20 minutes. I think that we took off with him still in the bathroom, which I don't even think we're allowed to do that, but I'm pretty sure we did. And I mean, this flight is only like 2 hours. And he had already been in there like a quarter of the flight. And I don't know what he was doing in that bathroom, but that should have been red flag in itself. And I should have gotten off the plane when I saw the flight attendant go start blowing up the bathroom in the first 10 minutes. But I mean, eventually he comes back out and he starts doing his drink service like normal. And I mean, up until this point, the flight's been bumpy. We've been, you know, doing some of this, doing some of that. We've been bumping around, like getting bounced all over the place. I mean, we had some turbulence. But like I saw this guy just casually doing his drink service, so I was like, oh, this must be normal for him, you know? Granted, we're flying over the Appalachian Mountains, so I'm like, oh, yeah, normal turbulence, I guess, flying over a mountain. I don't know. I hadn't flown that much at that point. And I mean, as we're flying over this mountain, we plummeted. I mean, like 1,000 feet or something. I mean, it was like 4 to 5 seconds, it felt like, of just plummeting. At that point, I'm like, oh, okay. And I mean, at that point, I was like pretty concerned. We kind of like hit a bank. Like it felt like we banged. The flight attendant who was doing the drink service, he takes off like full, not jog, but like a sprint. I'm talking about like full running out of the plane, like to the jump seat, you know, the little seat the flight attendants have that come down. Yeah, he sprinted at that thing. I mean, full on 100-meter dash back to that seat. At that point, I knew, I was like, oh, something's wrong if he's moving like that, because I've never seen a flight attendant sprint back to their seat like that. So I'm like, oh, dude, we're screwed. It's over. This flight attendant's done scared the mess out of me. We've already fell like 1,000 feet. I mean, at this point, I'm about to pee myself. It was about this point that I felt like we plummeted another, like, it felt like 4,000 to 5,000 feet. I mean, I don't know how high we're in the air, but we were not that high anymore. Because, I mean, I felt like we plummeted for like 10 seconds at this time. And I mean, at this point, I'm really scared. And I mean, like, I'm having like a full heart attack praying on the way down. Like, I'm holding the seat like the whole way. I don't think I'll get it. We're full on plummeting. So, I mean, while I'm sitting here in the seat like this, praying for death, we hit whatever it was, the hardest we've ever hit. I mean, we hit bang, like straight, like on a rock, and the plane just like hard into the air. I don't know if we hit like an air bank and we were like plummeting with no air, and we finally just caught air, but the plane felt like it was going to shake itself apart. Pretty sure I looked out and saw the wings that were above us like this. I don't know what was going on, but it definitely wasn't safe. At this point, I'm holding the buckle to the seat next to me like this, and like in my fist, and I'm holding it so tight just because I'm like holding on for dear life and I'm trying to find something to grab. And the stupid little armrest between the seats always raise up on planes. So I'm looking for something solid to hold at this point. Realized at this point, after we fell the second time, that I let go of these buckles, and I looked and they had my fingers indented on them. And I'm pretty sure that they were like solid steel. I was holding it so hard because of when we fell. Whatever reason, our windows are open, because I mean it was a clear sunny day, and my stepdad has the bright idea to start looking out the window, and that calms me down a little bit. I don't know why. So I look out my window. Terrible idea, because as I look out the window, I'm starting to see treetops. I mean, like, here's the wing. Foof, foof, foof. I'm like, oh, dude, one tall tree and we're done. We're dead at this point. I sat there for probably like 15 minutes of this flight, just holding my breath, because we weren't going up for whatever reason. We're just sitting here, foof, treetop to the wing, There was like 3 or 4 times that me and my stepdad just looked at each other and we're like, oh, we're dead. We're dead. Like, we just looked at each other, didn't say nothing. We're just like, that's the status of this flight right now. I don't know how many of y'all have ever flown into Clarksburg. The runway's on top of a hill, under the hill. Like, that's how low we are. So the hill's up here and we're like down here, to the point that we had to climb to go up and land on the runway. Like, I can't be crazy at this point. Like, we had to climb upwards to get to the runway. I've never had to do that in my life. That scared the mess out of me. But I'm pretty sure that's not even normal, but we were just that low. To sum it up, if you ever see me on a plane and it's a Frontier flight coming out of Washington Dulles heading to Clarksburg, don't get on that plane. And if you want to hear the second story, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll share it with you. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.